and share it. So the meeting is recorded so we can share it then afterwards with anybody who missed the meeting. And so we will go ahead and get started. So let me see here. All right, so welcome to the Bike and Pedestrian Advisory Committee meeting for, this is part of Live Healthy Miami Gardens, which is a part of the city of Miami Gardens, but a different portion of it, they focus on physical activity and nutrition. And so this committee is a resident-led committee. And I'll go a little bit more into what exactly is the duties of the committee and whatnot. And so we'll go ahead and just get started with going around and sharing our name, our pronouns, our location, share if you live or work in the city of Miami Gardens. And then as an icebreaker, let me take out the floating meeting control so I can read this. Name something that inspires you about the city you are from and or live in. So we'll go ahead, I'll go ahead and get started, and then we can just, go one by one from there. So my name is Ren Ruiz. I'm from Urban Health Partnerships, and my pronouns are they and them. I am in Oakland Park, Florida, in Broward. I do not live in the city of Miami Gardens, but I do work in the city of Miami Gardens on occasion for some of the projects through Live Healthy Miami Gardens. And something that inspires me about the city that I am from and or live in, well, I'm from Hialeah. I was raised in Hialeah, not far from Miami Gardens, actually. And what inspires me about Hialeah is the sort of many innovative ways that people find to just make do with life. I grew up around a lot of people doing a lot of side businesses and all that, because it's a very low income community. And so I've always been just very impressed with the ways that my family and my community around me had found to just, thrive for themselves. So, all right. Anybody else? Feel free to jump in.
Hi, good afternoon. I can go. My name is Janae Turner. She, her, are my pronouns. My location is El Portal. I do not live or work in the city of Miami Gardens, but I am here representing Break the Cycle. We're a local community cycling organization, and we do originate a ton of our rides in Miami Gardens, and we partner, with the city of Miami Gardens quite often to host different cycling events and rides. So that's kind of why I'm here. Something that inspires me about where I'm from or where I live. Again, I am from and I live in the village of El Portal. Something that inspires me about where I live is it's actually a bird sanctuary. So nature is really big. Like, we have a ton of trees. And I think it really kind of shows the beauty of South Florida. So that's, hi.
Thank you, Janae.
I'm Howard Dupree. We'll go back to I'm Howard Dupree. I'm a resident of Miami Gardens. My pronouns, I guess, is him, he, her, not me, he, him, he. Yeah, him and he and him, I guess that's it. I heard Janie Turner. I'm a member of the organization she spoke of, Breaking the Cycle. As a matter of fact, we rode last night, Janie, out of Miami Gardens. And some avid biker, both road and trail. And as far as Miami Gardens, something that inspires me about the city is that I'm really happy to see the transformation of diversities in Miami Gardens as far as demographics, housing. Miami Gardens was pretty much known as single family homes. We're now starting to develop a lot of apartments and townhomes and all, and I think that's a good thing for to improve the density in Miami Gardens.
Thank you, Howard.
Hi, I'm Jen Cheek, also with Urban Health Partnerships. We're helping to facilitate this committee, and I live not far from Janae in the city of Miami, just a little south of El Portal, and but work regularly in Miami Gardens. And something that I really love about my neighborhood is how well loved the parks are, and that they're full during open hours in the couple of parks near me, which I really appreciate. And it's something that I see in Miami Gardens often as well. So my pronouns are she, her, and I'm going to pass it over to Tiara because I can see you.
Hey everyone, I'm Tiara. I'm the Community Outreach Assistant here at Urban Health Partnerships. My pronouns is she, they, and I don't currently live in Miami Gardens for quite a time, grew up around, oh, am I frozen? Can y'all hear me? Okay, let me stop my video really quickly because my signal has been really crappy today. But I've spent a lot of time in different cities throughout Miami. I'm a native here, born and raised, and something that inspires me just about South Florida in general is similar to what Ren said, like our resourcefulness. I've seen throughout our neighborhoods over time, we've dealt with like a lot of displacements and hardships and different things throughout our Black and Brown communities, but a lot of us tend to survive and overcome, and like we make ways. So that's definitely something that inspires me. And I will pass it to Miss Tara.
Good evening. My name is Tara Kidd. I'm the community liaison in Miami Gardens, and my pronouns is her, she, and hers. I've been living in Miami Gardens for, oh my God, 29 years. No, more than 29 years. I came here in 1980 from Vero Beach, Florida, and went to Florida Memorial College, which is now a university. I live in Miami Gardens, right on 199th, down from Hard Rock Stadium. And what I like about what inspired me for Miami Gardens, I had most of my family lived here, but most of them have moved away. And I just like the atmosphere. I like my neighbors. I get along great with my neighbors, even though we wave across the street since we're on a main highway. But I'm more interested in helping Miami Gardens build up the BPAC with the biking and the walking pedestrian events.
Thank you, Tara. I think Rose.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Rosalind Icahn. I'm a resident of Miami Gardens. My pronouns is she, her. Something that inspires me about the city, I guess is always developing. When I first came I'm a resident. I came here when I was 4 from Nigeria. When I first came here, it was just Pro Player Stadium at the time. And the community has drastically changed since that time. At first, I was hesitant about the change because I felt like it was going to be congested. But I've been seeing a lot of growth in businesses and people being able to do more things within the community because there's more things to do. So I'm happy to see how things are going and how these policies and these initiatives that we're putting in place are going to like impact the community as well.
Thank you so much, Rose, and thank you everybody for sharing a little bit about yourselves as we can get to know each other. So just a quick sum up of what we will be covering today. So we'll be, of course, just sharing a little bit, since this is only the second meeting that some of you all have been to, third for some, about the Bike and Pedestrian Advisory Committee. We'll be talking about the recent Complete Streets resolution that passed and what that means. Some of the outcomes from the first meeting you all attended and what was done with the information that you shared. We'll be recapping some of the community biking and walking events that occurred in September. We'll be talking about the upcoming year's plans and asking for some feedback around that. We'll be sharing a little bit about the 215th Street Mobility Hub, which is a project from the Miami-Dade Transportation Planning Organization, and they currently have a survey about it. And then we'll be talking a little bit about what would be the best way to keep in touch with everybody here about biking and walking events that happen, or about when you want to, for any reason, just get together for any kind of, effort around like advocacy at the city or anything else like that. And then we'll end with some closing and some questions. It is a lot of stuff, so if we don't get to it, that's okay, but we will aim for all these things, and if not, then it's all right. Okay, so start with to share a little bit again about the Bike and Pedestrian Advisory Committee. It is part of the Physical Activity and Nutrition Council of Live Healthy Miami Gardens, and its mission is to enhance the safety and enjoyment of the bicycling and pedestrian experience within the city of Miami Gardens through the following duties: to review and advise the city of Miami Gardens on proposed plans and projects that they have related to street right-of-ways that would affect bike users and pedestrians, to recommend new projects or prioritize projects for bike and pedestrian improvements, to provide the public with an opportunity to give comment on bike and pedestrian matters, and to advise the city of Miami Gardens based on input received by the public, and to discuss matters pertinent to existing bike and pedestrian improvements, activities, and events within the city, and advise the city on ways to enhance the experience for bicyclists and pedestrians. These are flexible. If at any point you feel that, there's something else to add, there's something to change, if you feel that there's something that would be more encompassing even of the mission or any of these duties, please always feel free to reach out. You can drop it in the chat or anything like that. These are simply a starting point, Okay, so as a sort of goal for these meetings, it is the goal that these will be led by the residents. So we'll be often asking for y'all's feedback, asking for y'all's input, what else you would like to include. And hopefully, some of y'all have been reached out to by email, seeing if you want to add any other agenda items. We're always welcome to hear about what other things are going on in the city. And so we do welcome for you all to help shape these meetings. These resident-led discussions will lead to recommendations that will be provided to the city council and city staff for consideration, as was done with the first meeting's recommendations that you all made. So we'll be talking a little bit more about how those were received by city council and city staff and what next. And then the city council will also be provided with a summary and letter of the recommendations following each meeting. I already said that, so that's repetitive. But yes, that's a summary of some of the goals for here. So, that is also repeat. So we'll go on to the first item, which is the Complete Streets Resolution. So over the last, say, about 3 years, we had been working with, this is Urban Health Partnerships, we've been working with the city and lots of community residents, and working with a lot of you on a community biking survey to help inform what things are needed to improve biking and walkability for the city. And that led to proposing a Complete Streets Resolution. So what are complete streets? Complete streets are streets built for all users: walkers, bikers, transit users, people of different abilities that maybe use assistive devices, even drivers. And it's to make it easy to cross the street, safe to cross the street, to go to work or school, to move actively in a secure manner throughout your community. And they're streets that are designed and operated to prioritize safety, comfort, and access to destinations and resources for people who use the street, especially people whose needs have not been met through the traditional car-centered transportation planning approaches. So it's really defocusing the car and starting to focus more on other users. So a while back, the city of Miami Gardens, when they created their comprehensive development master plan, it's a large scale, long-term visioning document for the city. And they included a section in there saying that the city shall adopt a complete streets manual and policy. So when we noticed that, we were told about this actually, and we decided that it is something we would like to propose go ahead and happen, especially in light of there had been a lot of we had been hearing from the community biking survey about not feeling safe in the community, and there had also been some pedestrian crashes and bike crashes that this seemed like a good response to. So we started to draft a document and it was approved. So Councilman Stevens, which you see there pictured, actually seconded his support for it and or signed up as a co-sponsor, apologies, of the resolution, and it passed. And therefore we are now, what that means is it's kicking off a process of developing a complete streets manual, which is a larger document that's going to help guide how projects are designed if they modify city roadways. And it also will change all the processes and rules and programs within the city that will be affected by those new projects or that can somehow integrate complete streets priorities and solutions. So it also means we'll be developing that context-sensitive complete streets manual for the city departments, any outside agencies, utilities, service contractors, in how projects are planned, funded, designed, constructed, operated, and maintained to prioritize complete streets in any roadway projects. And if you want more information about the Complete Streets Initiative, there is information which includes about 23 statements of what is called the Complete Streets Initiative, what they're calling the framework of the Complete Streets Initiative. That is available if you scan the QR code, if you happen to have your phone, or you can, type in the link. And I did hear a little ding, so if there's something I should pay attention to, if there's something in the chat, please do let me know. Or I would see raised hands if people raise hands, and I'll be able to see that if I need
It
to
was
stop.
just me, Ren. I dropped the agenda in the chat for folks because I think we had a few people join us.
Okay, great. Do we need to introduce anybody new? We went through some introductions. If anybody who just joined us would like to share a little bit about themselves, maybe
I think we have a few folks
yeah.
on.
Okay, great. So we'll take a quick pause then, and I'm gonna go back real quick. Okay, here we go. If anybody who joined recently would like to share their name, their pronouns, their location, do you live or work in the city of Miami Gardens, and name something that inspires you about the city you are from or live in.
How many chairs you need, babe?
All of them.
The
Black and the white
The
ones?
black and the white ones, yeah.
Oh.
Babe, I told you, don't worry about it.
all right.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay, so I'm trying
All
to cut my camera on. I'm sorry.
No problem.
I have so many screens up. Okay. Well, if you can hear me, this is Jefferson. I live in the city of Miami Gardens. Currently, I'm the founder and CEO of Paradise Skating, and I've been just working in the city of Miami Gardens with the youth. I currently have a movement called Put Down the Guns and Skate, where I encourage the young youth, instead of joining gangs, to join skate crews. Currently teaching skate class in the city of Miami Gardens. I just recently partnered, so they're in negotiation to try to offer it to the community. I live in Miami Gardens. I grew up in Opa-locka, so I'm not a stranger to the area. Read about your company and what you all are doing for the community, so I love it. I think I was given an invite from Miss Jackson, Tiara, and had a chance to look at your site and your company. And yeah, really, really looking forward to just partnering to see how we can further better the community here in Miami Gardens. I love riding bikes. She knows that. So yeah, so just I'm getting a chance to look at your agenda. So I'm working, actually. I just had to take off for this meeting because I wanted to excited to see what you had going on. So yeah, so that's just a little bit about me and what I have going on.
Thank you so much, Jefferson.
You're very welcome.
And then Sunny, I see you're new into since we did the introductions.
Yes, and I do apologize for coming on so late. It's just so hard for me to get on this side of town with the traffic, because I work in Doral. So the traffic is super bad trying to get on this side of town. But hello, everyone. My name is Sunny Morrison, and I am a very long time resident of the city of Miami Gardens. I was born and raised in Miami, Florida. and I've been living in the city of Miami Gardens since I was in the 5th grade. And I am living in my parents' home. They both have transitioned. And so myself, along with my ill brother who is his vision impaired. So he's there, and another one of my siblings, we're both there with him. But I come from a very big family, and we all come from Miami, you know, born and raised here in Miami. And I currently have a business, it's First Class Productions, and I also work for the Miami-Dade Police Department. So, and I work in the special events section in the Miami-Dade Police Department, where they are the ones who do all the law enforcement for all the events that goes on at the Hard Rock Stadium in the city of Miami Gardens. So I am a part of that, you know, department. And what inspires me about the city of Miami Gardens is the history, you know, from the time that I was there as a kid, and then now as an adult, just watching the different things and transition from being Care City, transitioning over to an actual city of Miami Gardens. And so it inspires me to see other things to develop in our community, like more parks and more outdoor events. I also have property in other cities in Florida, like Pembroke Pines and Miramar, but my home is Miami Gardens. So I see the difference. So I see the difference of how the cities are developed in Pembroke Pines, and that's West Pembroke Pines, as well as West Miramar. So if you go East Pembroke Pines and East Miramar, you see a difference in terms of the development and what they do on the west side. And so when I'm home in Miami Gardens, it's a lot of things that I see can be, you know, implemented with things like that, like parks, and like the young man said about the skate, because I skate too, I ride my bike, you know. So during the pandemic, I was skating so much, I started getting, you know, part of these skate groups. And I think skating is a really good exercise. It's very therapeutic. And I really think that is something that our youth, you know, can get involved in. So whatever you guys need, I'll do my best to help out.
Wonderful. Thank you,
Awesome.
Sunny.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And then I see Chris Malcolm, you're back.
Oh, Ren, Chris posted in the chat, he's not in a place where it's too noisy.
Oh, okay. No
but-
problem. We're just glad you're here. Okay. No, thank you so much for telling me that, Tiara. Yeah, we're just glad you're here and able to join in some way. Carlita, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, sorry not getting on my camera because where I am it's almost midnight.
Oh, wow.
But I'm very happy to be here, excited to hear from you all. I'm the outreach and training coordinator for Urban Health Partnerships. My name is Carlita Fiestas and I go by the pronouns she, her, theirs, and I actually live in Hollywood Boulevard, Broward County, but I help overseeing the community liaisons from Miami Gardens as well, and they are a great group to work with. So what I really love about my community is the people and the green spaces, the top two things. But yeah, very happy to be here and thank you everyone.
Awesome. Thank you, Carlita. And I'm glad we were caught up. And if anybody else joins, please feel free to stop me. I'll continue sharing about, I don't know when everybody jumped in, but I was sharing that recently a resolution was passed for a Complete Streets initiative, which basically starts a process of integrating a Complete Streets manual, as well as rules and regulations around the different processes that happen around the city, to essentially make any project that would affect a roadway or change a roadway in any way, to be focused more on users that are not just single occupant vehicles, but transit users, bikers, pedestrians, to give more focus to other users. And so I'll continue on that. As part of that process that we're going to be doing over the next year, which, you know, I'll talk a little bit more about it now, but I'll also share some later when we talk about the next year's plans. Is we are going to be taking some guidance from the Miami-Dade County Model Complete Streets Policy, which they developed for cities in Miami-Dade County to help move forward their own policies. And then we'll be looking at other local complete streets guidelines that have been accomplished. There's not too many out there, but Pompano Beach is a great one. There's another one in Miami Beach. There was one study done in South Miami. So we'll take a look at things like that, as well as Smart Growth America's Elements of a Complete Streets Policy, which is a very Smart Growth America is an authority figure when it comes to complete streets. And so we will actually be working closely with somebody who helped with development of that. And then with Active Design Miami guidelines, which Active Design is something that was meant, is a guideline that was developed in New York City to help improve physical activity in the public realm. And so there is a group in Miami that helped develop guidelines for Miami that is interested in bringing that to Miami Gardens, and we'll be partnering with them a little bit to see how we can work some of those guidelines into a complete streets manual as well, and more. So we'll be doing some other things in there and looking to you all for feedback on occasion on how that document is going and what we can do to make it better as we're developing it. So part of the review of the manual as we're going through that process will be community members, so all of y'all, and you're listed there too under Bike and Pedestrian Advisory Committee, but also other organizations from Live Healthy Miami Gardens, the National Center for Safe Routes to School, and City of Miami Gardens staff. So we'll be working with the different department staff from planning and public works and parks and recreation, and possibly others to help develop this document. And just some examples that I wanted to provide of what that kind of stuff that looks like. So these are some examples of design criteria that were developed to show what could be in the public realm. What they start to do is show almost like a menu of options of different ways to say buffer a bike lane. They start to discuss the safety of the dimensions and stuff like that. And then other ones are much more simple and diagrammatic, and there's different ways to do it. This one in particular was taken from Miami-Dade County's Complete Streets Guidelines. So we'll be just exploring a lot of these things and seeing what is a good fit for Miami Gardens. All right, I'm going to go on now to talk about some of the stuff that has occurred since our first meeting, where you all shared a lot of really wonderful recommendations. So we had a list of recommendations that you all provided based on what your experience has been as a biker and as a pedestrian in the city. And so we took that list and we provided it to City Council in a report that goes to them on a quarterly basis. So in that report, right after the meeting, we provided that to them. We also met with the directors of planning and public works and gave them that list of recommendations as well. To follow up with that, we held a meeting with Public Works to gain support for some of the improvements that you all had said would be helpful in improving safety and the experience of biking and pedestrian activities. So we have gained support for them adding reflectors along the guardrail of the West Side Blueway Trail, for providing 4 new locations of bike racks. So it doesn't necessarily mean there's one bike rack per location, but it could be multiple per location, but 4 spots. 2 new trail wayfinding signs, and refreshing paint on approximately a mile of bike lanes. We also applied for a People for Bikes grant to fund the above bike infrastructure along the West Side Blueway Trail specifically to help speed things along. But nonetheless, we have gained support from Public Works that they would try to work it in as some small projects throughout next year. And based on those recommendations, we also have there was a recommendation to have more biking and walking events in the community. So the community liaisons did do a couple of different things for that. They helped to promote the existing events that were happening. So that includes the walking group at Bunch Park on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8 to 9 a.m. Running Edges fitness group that they meet at the track of Betty T. Ferguson on Thursday evenings from 6:30 to 8:30, and the Break the Cycle biking events. The community liaisons have also held a couple of events themselves, a biking event at Snake Creek Trail on September 7th and a community walking event on September 10th. So we will share some pictures from that in just a moment. Oh, the moment is now. So this is the biking event on Wednesday, September 7th. So this was held over at Snake Creek Trail where we gathered. That's a lot of the Break the Cycle youth actually right down there at the bottom picture. And so our community liaisons, I don't know if any of you two, Tara or Rose, would like to share anything else about the event and what maybe some of the items here. And I was putting you on the spot. I didn't tell you I was going to do that.
I'll share. I know
Okay.
I wasn't.
Oh, great.
I wasn't there, but I did a breast cancer awareness event with Breaking the Cycle. Just recently, they had a skate event at Desertland, and they asked me and my group to come there and perform in skates. And they also did a bike ride the next morning. And let me tell you, it was amazing. A lot of the youth came out. It was very uplifting. I loved it. Mr. Maurice, if that's the same guy over there, he had the youth ride with us, and it was great. So it's good to see the same young faces here participating here at Snake Creek on the trail. I'm pretty sure it was an amazing time that you guys had there, just looking at it. But just being around that group and knowing how they operate and what they're trying to promote and bring awareness to in the community is great to see that they're in so many different parts. And like Sunny said, in Miami Gardens, right? You'll see that stuff west of here. You don't really see too much of the bike riding and the skating, and you see what's going on with our youth right now. And I was just saying that kids don't ride bikes anymore. And then when you have organizations like UHP, of course, and other organizations coming together to try to make this, make it safe and better and bring awareness, it's just great to see. So yeah, the community back. I'll be on one of them soon.
Awesome.
Okay. Thanks, Jeff. If Ren, so I don't know if Tara or Rose still wants to share. Rose or Tara, do you want to share? Or do you want me?
You can share.
Okay. It was an amazing event. The youth, I was actually so surprised. They biked all the way, I believe it was from like North Miami over to the trail, which was their warm-up. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Janae was also out there too. I met quite a few people from Breaking the Cycle that day, which I was super excited about. We all were, because I know that was my first time being introduced in person to the group, and then seeing the youth group in action, which was pretty cool. But we were able to engage a lot of people. If anyone ever walks on this trail in the back, it's an amazing trail to walk or bike on. And we did come across quite a few folks on there and just, talk to them about what we're doing, and trying to stay in contact with everyone that we reached out to that day to further our efforts on what we're doing in the community.
Great.
Thank you, Tiara. And some pictures here from the walking event that was held. So this was at the Dolphin Center Trail. This is a trail that last time we all met with this committee, you all shared it's a great trail, but that not a lot of people know about it. So we were helping to also raise awareness about it, and are hoping to actually get one of those trail wayfinding signs located here. So this is that trail north of the North Dade Regional Library that starts there and then gets north.
Right.
Yeah, that's the trail.
Okay.
So we met out there and had a walking event there as well. So we'll continue.
I think that was that same Saturday, right? Our biking event was Wednesday evening,
Yes.
And then the walking was Saturday morning. And it was my first time actually on that trail. It was Rose and Tara that introduced us to the trail, and it was a beautiful one too. It was a nice one.
Mm-hmm. Yes. All right, so to talk about some of the plans for the upcoming year. So we are, as I mentioned, going to be developing the Complete Streets Manual, so I won't go too much into it since I had a section on that earlier. But I mentioned working with the City of Miami Gardens, Departments of Parks and Recreation and Public Works to hopefully construct some of these new biking and pedestrian improvements based on your recommendations. So that includes 2 trail signs. Now, the hope is that with the People for Bikes grant, that we will be able to get a lot of these onto the West Side Blueway Trail, which currently goes along a canal. And Jen, I don't know, I think you said you were going to pull up a map when we talk about this, but if you are able to, we can take a look at where that is at any point while I'm, talking. Feel free to share screen. But we're hoping that some of these improvements can take place at West Side Blueway Trail so that we can have just some improvements take place in one location, really focus our efforts there and really celebrate that. So that's going to be one sign there. And then we're going to be looking for a second location, which may end up being over at that North Dade Regional Trail, the Dolphin Center Trail that's behind the library. But yeah, let me see here. So if I can use my cursor. So yeah, this is the West Side Blueway Trail. It goes north-south from here. So it's from 191st, it goes south on an asphalt trail that goes along the canal. And then it actually continues to go south from here after it crosses the road. Yeah, you can see some of it along here. And then it kind of jogs this way and goes behind these houses in another asphalt trail and then comes over to 42nd Avenue, then crosses this little bridge and then continues as a sidewalk on 42nd further down for a bit. So it's all together, I believe, about a 1.5 mile trail. It's like maybe a little bit longer, but it's, it's a nice area. It just needs a little TLC. Okay. And so we will be, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. All right, so we will go ahead and be adding hopefully a trail signage to that to help people be aware that that exists. Focusing a bike rack along there, and we will need recommendations too for some of these on like what other locations would you recommend for the bike racks. So even as I'm sharing now, if you have ideas for any additional locations, as I'm asking here, please feel free to drop it in the chat. You can raise your hand and let us know where you think there could be another trail sign, where you think there could be more bike racks installed. It does have to be a public property. So, because in the past we had heard about like some shopping centers that could really use it and all that, but we won't be able to in a private. We want the public funds to stay in the public area. But if you know of any, say, parks even, or, locations near a bus stop where that's important, and if anything, just be on the lookout, and at the next meetings, you can share that information as well, or you can always email us as well. All right. And then also we will be adding the reflectors to the guardrail along West Side Blueway Trail. And so that's going to help because at night it was very low visibility. And we are also trying to get some little solar lights as well.
Instead of having rules and laws.
But definitely for sure the reflectors, so that if anybody's with a bike light, at least they can see where the edge of the guardrail is. And then refreshing bike lane paint. So this one is, we have now support for about 1 mile's worth of refresh. But if you know location specifically, we had heard along Risco Park, so we're going to take a look at that area. But if there's other locations that you know of, again, feel free to drop it in the chat. Feel free to raise your hand. And we would love to know where you recommend, and be on the lookout also again for that.
I have a question.
Yeah.
You mentioned Risco Park. What's the status of that park? Because I have been reaching out to the city of Miami Gardens regarding that park just to find out what was taking place of it. And of course, it was a back and forth type situation between the city of Miami Gardens and the school board as to who owns the land or the property. Only because it was an eyesore, and I was just trying to find out with the city and the city council people, just to find out for the residents, because everyone was concerned, like what is going on with that part, So I don't know if you guys know if they were in the process of groundbreaking something, because I was told it's supposed to be a STEM academy or a STEM center or something like that.
And so I don't know, and we've actually been wondering about it as well. Like, is it then part of the middle school? Because it looked so like fenced off, but then we could see that it kind of looked like a park and that there was all this like wavy, the wavy street there with the parking there.
Right.
So we weren't sure either. But what we can do is like what we did with the first meeting is bring these things to the Department of Public Works and Planning and ask them
Right. Right.
for some
Okay.
clarification so that then we can report back to you all.
Okay.
Yeah, so we will definitely ask that. And if anybody else has any information about Risco Park now, also feel free to, raise your hand and I did see something in the chat. So I'm going to just pop that open real quick. Should be noted that residents actually park their cars on the Blue Way Trail between 191st and 183rd. That is something that needs to be addressed. Oh, okay. Like on the edge, then I'm imagining that then is over part of that asphalt trail. Must be very easy for them to park on there.
Okay.
So that's really good to know. Thank you, Chris. So I want to make sure, I know, I'm going to go ahead and yeah, we'll thankfully be able to save the chat after the meeting. So that's really, really important to know. So I'm going to go ahead and continue on. Jen, is there anything else you wanted to share here or just, okay. All right. I'm going to continue going here. All right.
Bren, I would like to share something really quickly.
Yeah.
Chris did mention in the chat, they were asking where were the biking events posted or shared. So I just wanted to note that I know ours, we do a lot of posting on Instagram. We post our events, also share other people's events. So if you do have things going on, please connect with us via social media so we can share that. We also do a lot of outreach. So we'll make phone calls. If we have your phone number, we'll send emails. I know a few of you probably received calls and emails from us. So we'll talk to people, one-on-one, as well as our community liaisons. Tara and Rose do a lot of outreach, like on the ground in their churches and community places that they attend to in the neighborhood. So those are the different ways that we do share what is happening in the community.
Thank you, Tiara. And also toward the end of the meeting, we wanted to ask all of you too, what is the best way to stay in contact with you all? Because I think some of you hopefully have been receiving emails, like after the first meeting, we sent over the minutes and the recording. So hopefully you're receiving that in your emails. After you register, we'll just kind of keep a log of everybody's emails like that to stay in contact with info. And that included some of the events. So if you aren't, please let us know. We'll make sure that you are receiving those emails. But if you register for this event, we should have your information, hopefully. So. All right. And then, so one of our plans too is to hold a larger community biking event and celebration. The hope is that we can showcase a lot of the improvements that we have planned for Westside Blue Way Trail, to invite the city leaders to do that with the Department of Parks and Recreation, to showcase that trail, and then also use it as an opportunity to get some input on that Complete Streets manual that will be in development at that time, as well as have some samples of what types of biking infrastructure would be a complete street solution so that people can demo it, maybe even do like a little bit of a bicycle obstacle course of sorts. Oops, oh man, hold on a second. Oop, it went wild. All right. And then the other thing is the community liaisons are actually also exploring, when they're on the staff of Urban Health Partnerships, we focus a lot on capacity building. So as part of that, they're looking into what potential focus areas they could focus on for next year's plans, whether that be learning more about complete street solutions, helping more with the events and the public meetings. We've been to some of the Councilwoman Wilson's meetings and stuff like that. Or it may be that they want to deep dive into more policy work. So they're looking at that as well. And so next is the 215th Street Mobility Hub plans and the survey. So
can we take one more? Sorry, can we take one more second on the event? I just wanted to make sure it was clear, and I'm sorry, that this is something that the Parks and Recs department wanted to do as well. They're interested in having like a ciclovia type event where they shut down a street and have this big sort of community biking day. And so like in order for that to be successful, it would, obviously require coordination between groups like those are represented here, like Breaking the Cycle. And I love being able to incorporate skating more into these as well. So that's that event would not be like a UHP produced event. It would be us helping to coordinate a coalition of groups to sort of put that on. And we're just sort of jumping at the mention that Parks and Rec had that they were interested in potentially doing a cyclovia. And so we're like, okay, yeah, let's do that. We're going to help you make that happen. So that's the hope for that event. And I know hopefully that will be of interest to folks on this call.
Yes. Thank you so much, Jen. Super important. Thank you. Okay. All right. So the 215th Street Mobility Hub, this is a project that's proposed to bring what they call smart rail, or like it's essentially kind of like, I don't know if it's a high-speed rail, but it's definitely like a rail system that's intended to have a stop over in the Miami Gardens area, at least at 215th Street over on the northern edge of the county, and then the Hard Rock Stadium, and then Miami Gardens Drive, and then it comes down closer to the Palmetto. So these are 4 stops that are planned, and at least for the Unity Station Mobility Hub, they are going to be proposing a sort of park and ride facility. It's going to have some connections to bus, train, maybe some bike and scooter rideshare type stuff. And then eventually some earlier plans that we had seen were proposing like a mixture of retail office where you can actually go and dine and shop and all that stuff there as well. So it's just something that they've been proposing for a little while. They haven't yet developed really any plans per se to share beyond the one that was maybe like 10 years ago. And so I believe they're in the process of doing that now, and they are looking for public input on that. And so there is a link, and let me see. I don't know if I can copy this. Hopefully, nope. Let me see if I can copy this. Yep, and I'll try to drop that into the chat now so that you all can do that survey on your own time if you would like to. Okay, so you have that now so that you can also say what you would like about that project. All right, I'm going to go ahead and continue. So next was staying connected between meetings. We do want to be able to share those events, and maybe even when we're looking to do things like, when we were passing the Complete Streets policy and trying to get people to show up and support, or when we're going to be planning that cyclovia event and are looking for some of y'all to participate in a more involved way. I want to open it up now to you all. What would you be interested in as far as staying in communication? Would you like something like a WhatsApp group? Would you like to just stay connected on social media, or maybe through that email list? Would you like to always have a Google Calendar invite sent, for all of these events? So please feel free to share. You can, raise your hand, you can throw it in the chat, and we'll just take a few minutes for that. Actually, I'll stop sharing real quick so we can see each other.
I will say
Instagram and
it's
email.
helpful to know like what is the best way to reach everyone. I know we're all like working adults, parents, and life is happening. And our meetings they're quarterly, right, Ren?
Yeah, they are quarterly. So they, but the biking events, as you saw, like between them were like, we had 2 events, and the Complete Streets resolution passed. So we sent out a few emails in between. So one person for the WhatsApp group, somebody for Instagram and the email. And let me ask would email and WhatsApp group continue to be okay for both of those? Because maybe what we can do is start a WhatsApp group for those that would like that. And then, I think I'll always send the email so that you stay informed about any major stuff. If that sounds okay.
That would be cool. I'm happy someone mentioned the WhatsApp group. I would love for us to be able to start a group to stay connected in the in-between. Because especially from our first meeting and today, everyone had so much great information to share, and I'd love to keep that momentum going. Since this is like, we don't currently have a group like this in Miami Gardens, and it would be so beneficial to have one. And so I'm definitely in favor for the WhatsApp group. We post a lot on Instagram and email, so it's great to hear that that's great ways to continue to stay in contact.
Awesome. So I'm going to continue, but please feel free to continue sharing in the chat if anything else comes up. And so finally, we just wanted to hear from all of you. We have about 6 minutes left in the meeting, and I'll leave this up here, but please do feel free to share any thoughts you're having, any questions you have, comments you'd like to make to the group. I open it up.
I'll comment. Jefferson is always talking. All right.
I love it.
I said, it's great being a part of it. It was very beneficial. You know, sometimes you get invited, sorry, especially with the skating, and I've been fortunate to be a part of a lot of things going on in the community right now. A lot of media, Channel 7, Deco Drive, doing a lot of, just did a couple sessions, a couple stories on me and what I'm doing in the community. So to see this, like Tara mentioned, that this is something that whenever it's something that's not there or not here, and you're able to create it, right? Like supply and demand, right? There's a demand for it, and now we can feel that. It's great to be a part of, right? Because then you're at the forefront of making change. So I'm glad I joined. Great people, great feedback. I like what they're doing in the community. A lot of stuff that Sunny said grabbed my attention because it's just so relevant right now. So much gun violence, it's so prevalent. So I think the parks, the bike ride, it takes their mind away from those things. So many youth, I work with so many youth. It's crazy. So a lot of things that I want to do in Miami Gardens with the skating that I've started. So I think what you all are doing is just, it's gonna go far, but we have to continue, like you all said, create the groups, bring the awareness, do the quarterly meetings. I'll do my best to be a part, and whatever you need me, I'll be there if I can to help assist in any way I can. So I just want to say thank you. And that's my feedback for this meeting.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jefferson. And also too, like any way we can support your skating stuff, because I mean, that's absolutely part of what we're trying to do, is just improve physical activity. And there are several UHP members that skate, and we also love to, you know, promote all of yours events, you know, the community events. That's what it's about. So please, we'll reach out, or feel free to reach out to us, but we would love to help support what you're trying to do as well.
Well, since you said that, I have a national skate event, so that's coming next year, May.
Oh, cool.
Right. So I'd like to bring awareness to the city. We just had one this weekend. Actually, no one knew about it. Right. And there was over 2,000 skaters there.
Oh, nice.
Right? And
I wish I had known.
It was an adult party, right? It's called Figure 8. They're a traveling skating party. They travel to different cities every year. And it was huge. It was so huge that Extreme Action Park, they wrote back to me, because I tried to bring it here first, and they were giving me a lot of pushback and say, hey, I go to these events, I go to Georgia, I go to California, it's great. Our city we're the only city that don't have it, right? It should have jumped out, but they didn't. So this party came. It was a huge success. So now I got an email this morning saying, hey, do you have time? I'm ready to talk now about your party. So I'm doing a national skate event next year. It's a 3-day event. Every day it's going to be free. So the meet and greet is free. It's an adult party. I have some very nice venues. So I'm just looking for sponsors just to help cover some of the costs. But I'm focusing on hospitality.
Oh, he froze.
Okay, and I'm so sorry, I have to jump off, but you all can continue on the call, and actually, Jen Cheek will be here to all, and the whole team will be here to answer any questions, but
Okay.
I apologize, I have to jump off, but
No worries.
please continue
Thank
going.
you.
All
Uh-huh.
right.
I'll say,
no
Jeff, I
problem.
think your event is happening around the same time that we're having our Ciclavia, right? It's in May. Did we say it was like in May?
Well, so we have a loose schedule where we're going to request dates from the City of Parks or the Department of Parks and Rec. And we were hoping for around May. So if that's, I'm trying to think if it's like useful to have it really close together, like to
promote, yeah.
Or if that's overkill and we should spread them out, try to spread them out.
I think, Jen, I think would be a great idea, because what happens with these events is we skate at night and it's after hours. So I mean after hours, like
Yeah.
12 midnight to like 2, 3 in the morning. You'll be surprised to see so many people. But
Yeah.
during the day, they need things to do. So if I have 800 people already confirmed coming, you say, hey, I can put it on the agenda on the things to do list. Say, hey, we have this event. Do you want to go, bike riding, or we're gonna do this? It's great to have around the same time if it's going to be the same dates. My dates are May 5th through the 7th of next year. So if it's around that time, it won't be overkill, because the skate sessions is at night, and we do the day events. We do the activities during the day. So
Okay, that's awesome. We will run that by Parks and Rec and see what they think.
Yeah,
that would be great. Jen, I know when I was in Mexico, they would do it every Sunday, like a Ciclavia type event that we're working on. They'd shut down in the city and everyone would come out, bike, walk, and skate. And it was pretty, it was so dope.
Yeah, that's nice. They do that a lot in California too.
Yeah. Hey, Mayweather was just skating with us last night.
Oh yeah.
Floyd Mayweather, and he owns it. He just purchased a skating ring in Vegas. So
yeah,
I think it's Vegas. So.
Yeah, the pandemic actually made skating come back, because it was really nothing for anyone to do, and then everybody just started going outside and skating and exercising, and that's how I got back into it. I just started skating. So
and riding bikes.
And I ride my bike. I still ride my bike, but I do need to get back on my skates.
I got you covered, Sonny. I got you covered.
Okay, well, you keep me posted. You keep me posted, because I also mentor young ladies, because I also coordinate a model competition every year. So when you said May, we normally do ours in May, but we haven't quite decided on the exact time next year, because we've been doing it online due to the pandemic. Right. And so it's been working better to do it online, because we've been getting more, interest, with it being online. But all of them, whoever is a part of that organization, which is the Miss Runway competition, they all have to do something in the community. They have to have a community platform. And whatever we're going to do within the community, they're going to be a part of it. If it's volunteers needed and stuff like that. And a few of them skate too. So this will be perfect for them.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
Yes, I'm excited.
Well, it was a pleasure meeting you. Thank you for the call. I do have to jump online for another meeting. I'm still at working, guy. I'm still working.
Oh, you still working?
But it was a pleasure meeting you all. We'll see you again. I'll look for the correspondence.
I'm glad I was able to grab you guys, because I thought I was really late, but I'm glad I was able to catch you in the middle of everything. And I will be waiting for emails, updates, WhatsApp, whatever works.
Same
Awesome.
here.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Right. And yes, please feel free to follow up with emails or questions if you think of anything later. And you will be receiving some summary and next steps from us. So thank you so much. Thank you, Break the Cycle folks, for being here. I know you have lots of events coming up too, and we want to continue to help promote those. So we will be in touch. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.